Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. It's Friday and it's game week 38. We are finally here. I cannot wait for the season to end. When you're having a bad season, that's what you want. But I am looking forward to discussing the final day, Dean, because final day means goals. So I'm excited to consider some punts. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, same. Like, it's going to be chaos, I think. I think there'll be strange goal scorers, weird score lines. This is the impossible game week, right? Really, I guess you want your bench boost today. That's the fun one, I think, that you could have right now, because you could take a couple of hits and then play a bench boost of just some strange players to just go for, because we get weird goal scorers cropping up. I don't know what to do, really. I don't know what to do. I've got Alex Isak up front.
Ooh.
Don't know that he's going to play. I've got no transfers because I've already used my transfer. I assumed Isak was going to be okay.
This game week?
I've done my transfer, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see your team later.
Yeah, I went early on it. I got bored the other night and I was like, I'm going to get my team in shape right now. I'm going for it. So I picked a slightly differential pick for midfield. And now, Vardy has got a red flag next to his name. Isak's got a yellow one next to his name. And my other striker is Beto. He's got Newcastle away. So, yeah, final day regrets. I have a few.
The old
4-5-1 last game of the season. Yeah.
5-5. All-out defense is the new chip. Forget all-out attack.
The season, yeah.
Big man, how you doing, mate? Welcome back.
Hello, Gianni. Hello, Dean. Hello, welcome to all the listeners and viewers.
I think you're a different
Dean, we've
dimension.
already made a transfer. What's going on?
Oh, I'm so sorry, big man. The reason Dean and I both smiled at the same time was we were waiting to see if you were frozen or if there was just a lag. But unfortunately, the lag is about 8-9 seconds, which might mean you need to go.
It was just too long. I mean, there was the last show when he had a lag, and we persisted with it, didn't we? And it was a good 4 seconds.
Oh, mate, every Wednesday I do at least 4 seconds.
Oh my goodness, it's hard
but
work.
9 is pushing it.
Yeah, that was too long. That was too long.
9's unfair to the chasers. You can deal with 4. When we chat on Wednesdays, I just make sure I give really long questions. That I speak for a good minute, and then he knows he needs to speak for a good minute or two. But when there's 3, it's even harder. So it's hello to all that. Look, if we can't say hi to Big Man, let's say hello to some of you guys.
Let's do it.
In the chat, Danny and Eddie and Christian, Jacinta, loads of new faces as well. So guys, if you are new around here, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We do these streams 3 times a week. We'll be back on deadline day to do another one. We've just hit 10k subs this time last week. So guys, thank you for all your support. Not just today, not just last week, but the entire season. We want to celebrate you. We want to answer your questions. We would love you to hit that like and subscribe if you're new around here. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Come on, chat. I want to see some countries. I want to see some cities. Arjan from Nepal. Matthew from North Carolina. Where else in the world are you? And Dean, before we speak game week 38, FIFA Club World Cup is coming to the US. How do you feel about that being in the US? Are you going to be yesterday, FIFA announced they're doing a fantasy game. Yeah. And I don't like the FIFA fantasy games. We tried doing the World Cup when it was rubbish. But they made some changes, and I think they're going to nail it this time. So I'm going to play it. I think I'm just going to have a pop. I know nothing about the teams in Asia, a little bit about the teams in Saudi, nothing about the teams in South America, but I'm excited for it. How are you feeling about Club World Cup in general and the fantasy game?
I don't know whether the fantasy game kind of crept up on me, and I was like, oh no, am I going to play that? It was a bit I felt like that about it. It's like, I was ready to kind of switch my brain off for a second and go full transfer mode. So, but it is also a good way of tuning into the Club World Cup, which I'll be completely frank, I don't care about. I find it very difficult to care about this, but teams might care about it because of the prize money that's at stake for this one. So you might actually get a good version of teams, and they might actually all go for it. I might be going to an Inter Milan game in Pasadena in a few weeks' time. So yeah, I might be going to a game, but generally, I mean, the hype around it just isn't there over here. Ticket prices have been an absolute joke. Like, I just don't know what they're doing. Like in the build up to a World Cup in this country, the momentum is just like fallen away. Like the price of getting into games like this and will be to get to the World Cup is just ridiculous. Already, there's people that won't even want to come to America at the moment for that World Cup because of political reasons or
visas too. Like
visas
visas
and
are a massive issue now.
all the immigration stuff and all of that, and so people already not wanting to necessarily come here for it. And there's Club World Cup. You're looking at 150, 200 quid a ticket. What?
Yeah, for a group stage, it's
like for Inter Milan against, I don't know, Monterrey or something. I don't even know who it is, but so yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll be better than I'm imagining. What's this? Is this real? What's this? Top 10 travel, Mauritius, top 25k in the world. So I don't think this is an advert to say Mauritius is one of the top 25,000 places in the world. I think it's to say that he's in Mauritius and he's in the top 25k.
I didn't know we had anyone watching Mauritius. It's good to see so many countries. We've got Rion in Trinidad and Tobago, Mark in Malta, Sigurd in Iceland. You guys are all over the world, so thank you for that. And
that's
Dean,
cool.
interesting your take there on the Club World Cup. No doubt we'll touch on it at some point. But let us know in the chat. Maybe we'll do a poll. I'm interested. Let's just set up a poll. Are you interested in playing the Fantasy Club World Cup game? Yes or no? I'm interested to know because I want to know if I'm going to do content on my channel. We'll just do a poll and then we'll crack on with 38 now, guys. FIFA have launched the game. In terms of my new haircut, someone asked in the chat, it's not a new haircut. I've just not done it today. This is me fresh out of a thermal bath this morning. I'm not growing my hair, CH. No, I just haven't found a barber in Italy. Anyway, let's get cracking. So, game week 38. I'll wait until we talk captaincy for Bigman because I think that's a big one. And I think Bigman's going to probably fly the Mo Salah flag. Although I've not spoken to him about it, I just expect he'll be Team Salah as so many are this week. In terms of the big fixtures, Dean, like we can look at, should we start with the press conference roundup? Because hot off the press, like these managers have just come out of press conferences today. Most of the managers have spoken. The big news was for many will be Isak, and Eddie Howe is quoted on Isak saying that he's doubtful. But Eddie Howe, we know, never tells us anything anyway. I expect he plays. His words were Isak and Trippier will be assessed. Isak travelled down to Arsenal. He was all set to play and then didn't play because the recurrence of the groin injury. I think he probably needs surgery on that groin. Like, for me, he wasn't risked, knowing if he didn't play Arsenal, there was a very good chance he'd play Everton. I expect he was withdrawn from the Arsenal game so he can play Everton. And I think they will roll him out. And at 70%, he'll still play. I don't think Newcastle can afford not to play him, knowing it's a must-win game for them. But the ceiling in that fixture is so high. I love Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes for this fixture too. But I guess, Dean, that's the big one. Where are you on Isak? Do you think he plays or not?
I mean, I wasn't that convinced by the quote, to be honest. I didn't really like it. But, to take a risk on him or for me to start Beto in the same fixture, but for the other team, just going to take the punt and stick with Isak at this point, and just roll the dice and hope for the best. Obviously, a big moment for Isak, like potentially his last game for Newcastle. If you're right, he needs some sort of groin surgery, then any transfer is going to be off limits because you ain't going to be paying £120 million for someone that's got a problem. But yeah, either way, this is a huge moment for Newcastle. And they are going to go for this, right?
Yeah.
This is like a party already at St. James's. Like, they've got this deal going on at the game.
I saw that.
2 free drinks.
2. Only, 2. You've never seen 2 free drinks anywhere. It's always a free drink, but 2, typical Geordies.
It was great. Like, I saw that there was actually a fan account that had messaged one of the directors, like, tweeted the other day from whatever game it was, said, thanks for the support, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the fan accounts just wrote back, how about 2 free drinks for everyone at the final game to really get the atmosphere up? And he replied, and he goes, "That's actually a really interesting idea." And now they've actually announced it. I was just a random fan. It was like, give us 2 free pints and we'll get revved up. So the Geordies are already one of the loudest fan bases in the world. And now they're all going to get in there and have a couple of pints, which is the perfect amount. I mean, I'll suggest maybe they'll have 1 or 2 before they get to the ground in the first place.
You know what I mean? It's
if
a
they
4 o'clock
don't,
kickoff, isn't it?
it's going to be raucous in there. And Newcastle have got a big game. So I'll repeat what I said last week about Everton, who were guaranteed to win. Right? You don't get many.
They've had their big day.
They've done. So, like, there's very few games in the Premier League you get where you can say, right, this team's guaranteed to win. I'm putting Newcastle down as that this weekend. I think they're guaranteed to win. And so I've got Livramento and I've got Burn. I'm playing them both because actually, not just for the clean sheet, I fancy one of them to score.
Livramento's going to play wing back. It's a back 5 if Trippier's not playing. You've got Murphy right wing back up, Livramento. Livramento's had 1 attacking return all season, but his underlying's really good. He should have had like 3 goals, 3 assists, and he's had no goals, 1 assist. But and if Isak doesn't play, they should still be Everton with Callum Wilson up front.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll roll the dice on Isak, hope for the best. But either way, I'll have 2 Newcastle assets, and even though they're defenders, I fancy that they've got some goal scoring threat.
Well, mate, I'm looking to buy a Newcastle player this week. With my one precious transfer, I think I'm buying Anthony Gordon. I feel like Anthony Gordon against his old club, he's looked really bright in the 2-3 games he's been back for. He's going to start in a front 3. With a back 5 behind him, there's no defensive responsibility. It's his old club. I feel like Gordon probably feels a little bit, not point to prove, because he's clearly one of their top players, but in Gordon's absence, they won the EFL Cup. They played amazing football. In Gordon's absence, they probably played their best football of the season. He's clearly in the first choice 11 and will start this weekend. But he's going to feel like he needs to, not point to prove is too strong.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
He's going to want to end the season on a high. I don't know. Did Gordon make the England squad today? I don't think he did.
Oh, I don't know. I've just got up, mate. I haven't seen the squad yet.
No, I don't think he's in it. Someone in the chat can let us know. But the England squad out today. Again, I don't think Gordon was in. So,
I just seen that Ivan Toney made it though.
Yeah.
No, I can't see him on this list that I've got in front of me. No.
Lewis says Gordon did make it.
He's actually. He's the last name listed in the midfielders. Yeah, Anthony Gordon.
He's listed as a midfielder. Okay,
yeah, he's listed in there. Yeah. Anthony Gordon is in the England squad.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, look. Even more reason to make sure you play. So he did make the squad. Thank you, Mark and Lewis. You guys are on it as always. I don't just like Gordon this week, mate. For the ceiling in that fixture, I don't mind him as captaincy. Yeah. I genuinely consider bringing him in and making him captain. But if you want a differential captain, I prefer Gordon than Jared Bowen. Bowen's a great pick, don't get me wrong, but West Ham Ipswich, I can't guarantee you that West Ham, 1, win the game, and 2, score more than 2 goals. I can guarantee you Newcastle score more than 2 goals or 2 goals or more.
Yeah,
of course they will.
Guarantee. Look at us. Really look at us guaranteeing stuff.
Huh?
Look at us guaranteeing all this stuff that's going to happen.
I said on Monday I'd eat my hat if Newcastle don't win. I said live on Chasing Green Arrows on Monday I'll eat my hat because people are like, it was Everton that good. Everton, by the way, today, Everton team news, Branthwaite ruled out. We know Tarkowski's out. It's going to be Michael Keane at centre-back. Give me some of that. So that's where I'm at with that Newcastle fixture. But in terms of high ceiling, let us know in the chat the teams you think got the biggest ceiling. Like Bournemouth, Leicester's a good one. But Dean, how do you feel about Bournemouth? Like Scott is back, possibly, and he's been training with a mask on all week. Now he played 2 game weeks ago and Kluivert was benched. Last week, Kluivert came into the 11 and at half-time, Kluivert was hooked off for Brooks. Like between Scott, Brooks and Kluivert, only one is starting. And if you own Kluivert, like me and many others do, I'm not sure. I might end up benching Kluivert because I don't think he starts. I'm 50-50 if he starts.
Yeah. It's been a really weird end to the season for Bournemouth where it was all looking like they were going to finish top 7, top 8. And now they're just aiming to finish top half of the table after their last 2 defeats. So that's been quite painful. A nice game to finish on, though. Again, I think you can list Bournemouth as guaranteed to win here. It's just the selection dilemma. If you want someone, it's got to be Evan Nilsson, right? It's probably going to have to be the way in. But those midfielders, I'm not so sure about. It's the only one I would really be willing to say is a sure thing for this game.
Yeah, big man, how you doing? Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yeah, my internet was on an alternate dimension. I hope I've gotten it sorted now.
All good, man. All good. We're just talking team news. We've covered Isak. Any other big things to mention from today in terms of the standout? We've spoken Everton injuries at the back. We love Newcastle. Any other teams you want to touch on from the team news?
I think João Pedro may be missing out. That is quite a significant news for people who still have him. Although there's not many, but still there are a few. Apart from that, I mean, Saliba missing out yesterday. That was covered in Arteta's press conference. But other than that, it doesn't generally feel like a week which will be chaotic in terms of rotation, like we generally see in Game Week 38. I'd be surprised if too many popular assets missed out because a lot of these teams still have something to play for. So I'd be surprised if we saw massive rotation in the final game week like we usually do.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think I'm right. You're right there. Like I've said all season, don't bench boost 38 because there's always a few surprises. I'm not so sure now.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it's.
Do we think Arsenal will go full, Dean? Like where are you at Arsenal? Because Saka was flavour of like everyone was planning on Saka in 38, and then I at the start of the week was like, is Saka even going to start? Like why bother starting him? Play Ranieri.
Yeah, I was just actually trying to look up what Arteta has said today. Yesterday, exactly what his like kind of tone was around it. I didn't manage to see it, but the thing is, right, Arsenal do need to end well here. Like, I know that Arteta won't really care that Tottenham are going to win a trophy, but it's a little embarrassing that. Yes, Arsenal have had a better season week on week. Right, they've had a more enjoyable season. Arsenal have than Tottenham, and they've obviously been playing at a much higher level. And to reach the semi-finals of the Champions League with the route that they had is a bigger achievement actually than getting to the Europa League final, given that Tottenham didn't play very many tough teams. But at the end of the season, Tottenham fans now have this huge trophy to celebrate, and they'll look back on it through history as a great one. All the ups and downs, but it ended like this, and there's something to cling on to. So Arsenal, like, at least end the season like by smashing someone and being like, you know what? Yeah, you've got a trophy, but I tell you what, there's only one team in North London, and we just ended the season by beating Southampton 9-0, whatever. So I think Saka plays. I've got him in my team. I think I was a bit more pessimistic about this the other day, but I think your main Arsenal assets, unless there is a genuine, knockout there that's already been listed, I think you're good. And Saka, who I've got in my team, I'm hopeful to finally get a return.
Yeah, big man. How do you feel about Saka? Like my plan was always Saka in and captain. I'm either going Saka or Gordon, but I can't go both. Are you confident of a Saka start? Is this just wait for team leaks? Do you think we'll get a team leak on Arsenal? Where are you at there?
I think it's likely that we get a team leak on Arsenal. I think I think Saka's actually a really good buy. I would wait till the team leaks, and I'd only buy him or captain him if we hear a concrete leak that he's starting. But generally, we've seen that Arteta's kind of run Saka into the ground even before the big game. So I don't see a world where he's rested. I mean, it's unlikely, personally. I just get the feeling that it's all going to be guesswork. But personally, if you ask me, I am pretty confident that Saka starts. In which case, yes, you can argue that Arsenal don't have much to play for. But generally, we've seen that, especially with Arsenal, when they don't have anything at stake, historically, they tend to play more freely. And I would expect Arsenal to win fairly comfortably. I would expect a big Arsenal win this week. So if Saka's starting, I think for those who are chasing ground, let's say 12, 20, 30 points, I doubt a lot of people will be buying Saka this week due to doubts over his X minutes. So if your rivals don't have him, if you're clawing back a lead, especially a big one, then getting Saka in and captaining is quite a good move in my opinion.
I like that. I do like that very much. Other big team news, I don't think there's massive ones. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Strand Larsen's a doubt, could increase slightly maybe the chances of a Cunha start. I mean, big man, how do you feel on Cunha? Like he missed out last time. I own him, but is this going to be his farewell? Do you think there's a level of respect there where he's not a Kevin De Bruyne last game at the Etihad, sure, but do you think he's been a bit of a servant in the few years he's been there? He's signed a new contract in January to protect the club with a higher buyout, and Wolves are making a ton of money on him. So do you think we see Acuna start? And Dean, I'll ask you the same question in a sec.
If I was to guess, given that it's a home fixture, I think he does start. But we've seen Vitor Pereira being a bit random in his selections in the past, so I won't be totally shocked or surprised if he missed out. It is a very tricky case for owners. I think if you don't have any other priorities in your team, then I think you can, unless you get a league that he's starting, there is a world where you can sell him. But if I was to guess, I still think he starts. And the fixture against Brentford is still all right. And there are not too many forwards that I like this week. Especially if Isak is out. Evan Nilsson is one which I really like. If Cunha has your route to Evan Nilsson, I think I would sell. But if not, then I think I would keep.
Yeah, okay. Dean, Cunha, the club are fairly happy to let him go at that money, right? There's no animosity there. He's going to start.
Yeah, obviously I said this last week and he didn't. So,
but it wasn't at home last week. He was away. It's easier to bench him away from home. Game week 38, last game for the club is at Molineux.
Yeah. Look, he's going to want a farewell goal, and I would be surprised if he didn't get it with the type of player and mentality that he has. I don't think he'll necessarily care about the emotion of the occasion. I think that Cunha's quite hard-headed in the sense that he's just going to do the best for his career from here. Doesn't really care what anyone thinks about the fact that he wants to go and join Man United. But I can see him scoring an absolute belter in this game, and I think that you're good with Cunha for this fixture. So yeah, absolutely fine.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's move on from team news, guys. We want to get to some of the Rob T info as well in terms of bookies odds, clean sheet odds, goal scoring odds, and most importantly, teams to target. Now, some of these odds are for teams that you could argue don't have what's this? Bigman, I'm going to chuck to you to give us this. I don't know if you've sent this in, but this looks funky.
Yeah, so you can see from Rob T's graphic that historically you see Game Week 38 is very high scoring. And if you compare it with the season averages, in all of the seasons, without exception,
wow,
over the past 5 years, we've seen a sharp increase in the number of goals that are scored in the final game week as compared to the season average. And I won't be too surprised if a very similar trend is followed this week. If you look at the bookmaker odds, the highest clean sheet probability is for Newcastle, which is at 43%. So no team is over 45%. I see a very similar trend being followed once again with very few clean sheets, which is why one of the points of showing this image on screen is that we want to basically tell that a lot of people are in the market for a Saliba replacement. I think you should only do that if there's nothing better in your team to address, because ideally, if you're in Game Week 38, you want to have fun with your transfer, use it on an attacker with upside. A fixture, for example, like that's a Newcastle, Everton, or Bournemouth, Leicester are potentially ones where you can target Arsenal, Southampton, even, as opposed to getting a defender who's in all likelihood, in the best case scenario, is going to get you 6 points. So that's basically the whole logic behind sharing this graphic and showing this picture.
Wow, and I bet those Game Week 37 fixtures at like 3.3, 2.8, 2.8, they're probably higher than average anyway. So to have that big jump on Game Week 38 is massive. Shame Norwich aren't in the Premier League. But look, we do have Leicester in the Premier League and Bournemouth play them. We do have Southampton in the Premier League and Arsenal play them. These are good fixtures. Dean, when we talk about fixture matchups, many will look at, say, Newcastle Everton and go, we've discussed the narrative there, right? We love the fact that Newcastle got so much to go for, team nothing to play for as the opposition. But in a way, is that fixture more likely or less likely to reach a 5-0 because there's so much on it? Does it start a bit cagey or do we see the matches with nothing in it, but a great matchup, like Arsenal scoring 5 versus Southampton or Bournemouth scoring 5 versus Ipswich? Nothing to play for, but just much better footballing team going at it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think I would expect it to be more cagey, actually, like because Newcastle have got stuff on the line. It's the same for like the Chelsea game against Nottingham Forest. Like these are proper matches. Like these have actually got something on them. And, you know, like I said, I do expect Newcastle to win this game, but equally Everton aren't just rolling over here. Like you have professional pride, and those players will be determined. Like, you know, as a player, you love to like spoil a party. And so you will have the motivation to at least shut up that crowd. And it'll be a lot of fun for Everton if they could somehow do it and just be like, yeah, we don't need to win this game. It's completely pointless to us, but we're going to really annoy you today. And David Moyes would love to annoy them too, I'm sure. But equally, I think Newcastle will prove to be too good given the type of team that Everton are going to be capable of putting out on this occasion. So I can see it perhaps taking a little while to get the breakthrough. Whereas if you get a Liverpool Palace game, if you get a Bournemouth v Leicester game, if you get a Southampton v Arsenal game, maybe even Tottenham Brighton, I'd much prefer those games for like goals, just because it's just a fun end of season game. And you get like 2-2s, you get 3-2s, things like that. It's just very difficult to know exactly where your points are coming from in terms of the actual individuals, because you do get some strange goal scorers, like I said, at the top, and you will get people who get an opportunity and just take it. So I'll do a bit of a spoiler alert here in that I really was I might regret this, but I was going to go for Matoma, and I was like Matoma, and I've actually gone for bringing in Jared Bowen, and I've already got some regret about it because I just don't like West Ham. I think they're boring, and I'm not wholly convinced that out of all the fixtures that I could have targeted, that I've targeted the right one. I think I might have messed up already, and if there was ever a game to end like 0-0 or 1-0, it's probably Ipswich v West Ham, just because like there's just not a lot of entertainment value there to be had.
I think Ipswich might win.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I've had to do something a bit different just to try to get up there, and I don't want Cole Palmer in my team for this final game. I'm sick of the bloke. Even if he scores in the final day, whatever. Just don't want him anymore. So I've gone for Jared Bowen, which is quite fitting that he's in the diagram. But I'm not that confident that this is the pick. So maybe I've messed up. And as you can see from the graphic, there are teams that are predicted to do better on the goals front.
Big man, rank the best 3 teams to invest in this week. If you're talking just goals, does it? So the bookies have Liverpool at 1, Bournemouth and Newcastle and Arsenal all joint second. Where are you at if you were ranking? I don't know, let's go top 5.
I think the question should be which players should we target, because, for example, with Liverpool, realistically, there's only Salah you can target from the attack, even though I expect Liverpool to actually score the highest number of goals this game week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's certainty on minutes for anyone else barring Salah. So I'm not sure I'd get anyone else. But I think on top of my shopping list would be Bournemouth. Arsenal, if Saka starting, I think he's someone I really like. And to a certain extent, Newcastle as well. But then again, with Newcastle, there are certain concerns over minutes. Gordon and Barnes should be safe, but then again, they're not likely going to play 90 minutes. Murphy might end up playing right back if Trippier doesn't make it, so we don't exactly have clarity on that either. So I think Bournemouth are the team to target in terms of differentials, and I can see Bournemouth winning like 3 or 4-0. I think Evanilson, Semenyo, Kluivert, Kirkes, all these guys are likely to do really, really well. And most of these guys are owned by less than 10% of FPL managers, especially Semenyo and Evanilson. So, yeah, I'm actually targeting that fixture very, very closely for attacking upside.
Okay, we're going to have to get to our teams very, very soon. I personally, on Kluivert, I might be benching Kluivert. I'm not confident of a start. I think I mentioned to Dean, and the chat will see the reasons why. But Alex Scott, back fit. Brooks came on for him at halftime last week and was better than him. I'm worried about Kluivert. I'm worried about getting a 20-minute cameo when I've got attackers like... I'd have to bench. It's either Visser or Kluivert, I think. And I don't want to be benching Visser. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by that one. Okay, let's just speak a little bit about Brighton and Villa, because they played two teams that have played on Wednesday night. And when these odds were set, I expect it was before that final. I expect the Brighton goal threat odds may have gone up slightly, knowing Spurs have been partying for 2 days. How do we feel, Dean, about those two teams? Like Matoma and Welbeck, Minter for Brighton, and obviously captaincy on Watkins is an option too.
It definitely is, yeah. I mean, if you got Watkins, I would definitely go captain on him. Who can have faith in Man United to like give those fans something back after they've all travelled to Bilbao to watch that absolutely dreadful performance? Not me. You know, you can't count on that Man United team at all. Aston Villa are a far better team. Morgan Rogers and Watkins could absolutely tear them apart. So I think that's a great double up to have in your team. And yeah, like I said a second ago, I already kind of regret not taking Matoma and picking Jared Bowen instead. Look, Tottenham have lost 21 games this season, whatever it is. It's appalling, but it doesn't matter now. Like, if there's any game that Postecoglou can lose this season, it's this one. Like, it's the one game where he's going to get a free hit. It's a celebration, no matter what. And Brighton are a better team right now. Like, they're the team that you would fancy to break them down, especially if Tottenham have let their heads go a little bit in the last 24, 48 hours. It's very difficult to get your head back on a meaningless game after you just had the highs of that. I mean, you'll be running on adrenaline to some extent. You've got a bit of freedom, which you never get as a professional footballer, really, to just kind of just play the day and get through it, knowing that you're not really being judged on it. There'll be a couple of players who know that it's their farewell performance as well. So you've got all those sorts of storylines going on. You might see a couple of cameos from players that don't normally get a game. But Brighton for me and Aston Villa, safe bets this week, safe bets to win. It's just Watkins, Rogers, Mitoma are probably the ones that I would be hanging my hat on.
Yeah, big man, captaincy on Watkins, an option for you, and thoughts on a punt on a Welbeck, like João Pedro not playing, Welbeck on pens.
I think I'm fairly set on Salah captain. I don't see that changing. I don't own Watkins, and I'm fairly nervous about not owning him because I can see Villa doing well as well. But I just feel as if Liverpool will thrash Palace. I expect Liverpool to win 4 or 5-0. And if I do expect that to be the case, then I want to have Salah as well. Yes, he hasn't had the kind of returns that we are used to seeing in the past, especially in recent times. But overall, his numbers have been great this season. So I see no reason to doubt him. The guy's having a 300 plus point season. So even if he's had a few blanks here and there, it doesn't really make a huge difference to my thinking. Palace have been equally busy partying in Ibiza. So there's little to no motivation to play for. So I think I'd be going with the Liverpool captain. But yeah, I think Rogers, Watkins are good options to play this week, but not people I would personally consider for captaincy this week.
Yeah, okay, nice. Well, look, let's move on to some differential teams. I've just put together a squad of players that are like mostly 1-2% owned. A few of them are closer to the 10% mark, all under 10. But yeah, just if you're looking for a final day punt, these are some players we like that show that image. Guys, thank you for all your comments in the chat as well, guys. We do read them all. We can't engage with many of them at this point, but we try and cover all the big topical issues. We would love you to support the stream any way you feel suitable. Many of you would have already hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, maybe you'll want to do that. Here's some players. I've just gone like, I expect Bournemouth to keep a clean sheet. I own Kepa. Calafiori's going to start. Always a bit of goal threat. Pau Torres, I expect a clean sheet from. I'd probably start Bradley and hope that he gets a nod over Trent. I think he will. And Livramento, we've spoken about. In midfield, I think Barnes and Gordon are brilliant options. Martinelli could be fun. He's playing really well, Martinelli. He's playing better than Saka at the minute, I think. Asensio should start, although Tielemans, I think, is could be back fit, and that could affect Asensio playing the number 10. I expect Villa to score a few. And then Minter and Welbeck, again, loads of fun there. Kai Havertz, I reckon, gets a start. He's been training for a week or two. I think he ends the season on high. And I like Cody Gakpo. Again, I think he's been one of Liverpool's bright sparks in recent weeks when they've been playing quite badly. So this is just a squad I've put together.
Yeah.
Dean, any names here stand out to you that you particularly like?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of looking at it as like it's still a temptation from me to maybe take a final day hit, saying, knowing that I've got at the moment possibly only one fit forward, and it's Beto. Knowing that I've got Vardy not playing and Isak potentially not playing, so I want to look out for something there that tempts me. But it's got to be convincing. Like I think I'm 0.2 million short of getting to Watkins, so I can't quite get to the one I'd really want. Out of those three forwards, probably go Gakpo, but obviously I was absolutely burned on Gakpo about 6 weeks ago when I thought he was coming back into the team, and I picked him 3 times in a row and he got me like 3 points overall. So I'm not going back to him. He's done me. So I don't know, mate. Danny Welbeck is intriguing to me because that's pretty rogue, but also he's been pretty good. Like when he's picked, he does do well, and a fixture like that is quite a nice one for Danny Welbeck. So that is interesting. I'm just not sure it's worth a -4 for me.
Yeah. Okay, Big Man, talk us through some of your differentials that you have put in.
Yeah, so if we can have the image up on screen, I'll talk you through them. Yeah, one of the main differences between my sort of 11 and your squad, Gianni, is the fact that I've gone heavy on Bournemouth. I see you didn't have any Bournemouth attackers. I have both Semenyo and Evanilson. I just expect a battering against Leicester. And I think Evanilson especially is borderline a captaincy shout. I think if you don't want to captain Saka as a differential this week, then Evanilson is probably the next best shout. I have Gordon as well, like you did. I have double Arsenal defense. I'm fairly confident in Arsenal keeping a clean sheet this week. I have Kepa and goal like you do. Kevin Schade has been doing well. So, I mean, because Mbomo and Wissa are very, very highly owned, I think he could be, let's say, an extra edge that you might need to actually gain from Bournemouth attacking, from Brentford attacking returns. Bowen is there for obvious reasons. I like Odegaard as well. I don't see him being mentioned much, but I think he's sort of gone under the radar. If you look at his recent scores, he's actually delivered at least one attacking return in each of the previous 5 fixtures. So I think he has the potential to do well as well. And I was struggling to pick the other forward. In that scenario, I've gone with Delap. I actually drafted this before the Spurs result. So I think if I was doing it right now, I might change Delap to Welbeck because of what you guys have said about Brighton and Spurs having little motivation to play with.
Yeah, I like that. Some good picks. Bowen is 15% owned though, so a little bit of a cheeky one there. And yeah, you're right. I didn't go Bournemouth, but again, Semenyo at 7%, Evanilson at 5%. I was trying to go a little bit more differential even than that because I know they're community darlings. But look, if you're going with the standard below 10%, then yeah, Semenyo and Evanilson, I'm with you. I think they're really good picks. And yeah, Gordon is really intriguing me this week. I just don't know if I'm going to go Gordon or Saka. Let's see our team, shall we? We need your help in the chat as well, guys. I've still got a transfer to make. So has Big Man. We're all got to talk captaincy. And there are a lot of captaincy options out there. So far, the votes, Salah is massive favourite at 61%. A man that I don't think will captain Mo Salah is Dean. Dean, start us off with your captaincy thoughts on Mo Salah and then talk for your team.
Look, he's obviously a good captain pick. Like he's got something to chase. You see, he picked up the Footballer of the Year award last night, and they said to him as he got off the plane back into Liverpool, and you've got another trophy to pick up at the weekend. He said, actually, hopefully 2. Obviously wants the top goal scorer as well as the Premier League title in his hands. So Salah's obviously a good bet. I'm just don't want to do it because it's boring, and there's nothing for me to like gain or hold on to really. So like the main mini league that that I'm in, like the guy's 40 odd points ahead of me. He's a Liverpool fan. He's 100% picking Salah as his captain. for me, it's just completely pointless. I've got it on Isak here. I mean, I
don't mind that.
I don't mind. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I really did think he was by this stage we'd have like that he was fit and he's gonna play, and I'd be fully confident. But I guess I just leave it on him anyway. Saka would be my other one that I'd probably go for, but Saka hasn't given me any real reason to pick him as captain. Like if Isak starts against Everton, then there's a potentially big upside there, and he goes out with a bang. So I'm going to hope that Eddie Howe is toying with us all, and that Isak is in better condition than it sounds like. And I'm just going to go with Isak captain, like final
He's been
day.
playing injured for a few months, and he still delivers.
Yeah, like if it wasn't the final day, I wouldn't be doing that. But for this right now, yeah, I'm going with it. Yeah, Mike says Beto with the double game week. How old is this pick? Yeah, I mean, all the others have been updated, but I think this Beto hasn't got the update on this one. Ignore him anyway. He's not.
And obviously, you're starting Kirkes over Munoz, but yeah, we know that.
Okay,
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to Bigmans Team, and then we'll end the conversation with captaincy, guys. So stay tuned for my team, Bigmans Team. Big man, hit us up. You've had a lot of green arrows of late.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can have another to end the season. It's actually 13, so I'm hoping I can extend this streak. I think my team is fairly straightforward this week. There are not too many decisions. I'm fairly set in my captain on Salah. I will be keeping Palmer because mainly because I think even though the transfer to Saka is enticing, I'm not exactly chasing rank, and I still think that Palmer could do well against a Forest defense whose numbers have dropped well in recent times. I hear you laughing, Dean, but such has been my stubbornness with some of my picks this season.
Blind faith and stubbornness. That's fine. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, I'll be sticking with Palmer, with Chelsea still having something to play with. I think my transfer is going to be Sarr to Semenyo. I actually have enough in the bank to make that transfer. I'll be doing that. And if Isak is ruled out, or if he is leaked to miss out before the deadline, then I'll just bench him for Rodgers. As I mentioned earlier, I don't like too many forwards this week, and as someone who already owns Evan Nelson, I think I would just bench Isak for Rodgers and play the 3-5-2. Konza will be on my bench, and of course Martinez is the better fixture over Henderson. So the 11 kind of picks itself. There are not too many decisions to make this week, hopefully, and as long as I end up with a gray arrow, I'd be happy with my finish to the season, as I'm currently 35k.
Yeah, great season from you, big man.
Well
where are the teams you think will get leaks? Do you think we'll hear about Isak? Do you think we'll hear about Saka?
I think we'll hear about most of the popular assets, including Isak and Saka. I think so.
There we go. Okay, love that, big man. And yeah, having enough in the bank to go start up to Semenyo sounds great. Sounds good. I like that call. If you get a Semenyo Evan Nilsson combination for a goal, boy, is that a nice little green arrow every time, because they're both under 10% and they're combining for a goal. Love that. Okay, let's have a quick look at my team. I've just checked my previous ranks. I'm gonna have my worst season ever. I'm having a worst season. I'm gonna have my worst rank. Even when I stopped playing halfway through a season, even when I went a season not picking Wayne Rooney because I didn't like Wayne Rooney, when I was a complete and utter casual, I had better ranks than what I'm going to finish this season at. I'm at 490 odd K. My worst rank is 390. I've had two seasons outside the top 100K in the last 13 years. It's about to be 3 in 14 years. I ain't getting a 100K finish. So I'm gutted by that. There's no point in me captaining Mo Salah, is there?
No.
I've got to go for a complete differential and pray Salah blanks. My thoughts. I think I'm going to sell Elanga to Gordon. Elanga to Gordon. I've got exact funds to go Elanga to Gordon, but that means benching someone really good. Or I go De Bruyne to Saka. Dunno. If I go Elanga to Gordon, I've got to bench Kluivert, who, unless I hear Kluivert starts, and I don't think we'll hear Kluivert starts. No. So, yeah, Dean, thoughts on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably be tempted to get rid of De Bruyne, if I'm honest. But
do you reckon he starts? Because they need points. He wasn't meant to start this game, but they drew with Southampton, so they now need points.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very 50-50 on whether De Bruyne starts. You would assume he does. If I had to put my life on the line, I would say yes. But I'm not wholly convinced that, now he's had the big farewell at the Etihad the other day. Wouldn't surprise me if he did just come on for the last 20 minutes here and then got a big clap as he came on and then another one as he left the pitch. And Fulham's a nice place, obviously, to end in that sense. They'll give him a good send off as well. So I don't know about De Bruyne, and I'm also not wholly convinced that Man City going to get a great result against Fulham. I think it'll be quite a good game in terms of Fulham will give it a crack. I think I don't think that they're going to just sit back. One thing we know about Fulham is they like it when teams come onto them and they'll go and hit them too. So I think it'll be pretty open. And Mark says he doesn't think KDB will start and he's going to sell him. So I think that's probably your toughest call there. I think Kluivert's probably going to be okay. I think Kluivert will probably play.
Yeah. Big man, what would you do? De Bruyne to Saka or Elanga to Gordon and bench Kluivert or Visser or Cunha or De Bruyne?
I think I would be considering Saka and Evanilson as my main targets. I mean, if I was in your position, I'd be hoping we get a league that Cunha or KDB are missing out so that I can make an obvious transfer because you are sort of in that position where, both of them are 50-50 calls and you can easily end up getting one wrong, which has been unfortunately the case most of the season in terms of luck. So, yeah, I mean, I think I would, with the information available, I think KDB to Saka would be what I would initially plan for. And if things change with leaks, then I might look at Evanilson before the deadline.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned luck there, big man.
I don't think Gordon has the same upside as Saka or Evanilson if they're starting.
Yeah, fair point. Dean, you might not know this, but there's websites out there that do your luck chart from the season based on all the expected, what your team should have got versus what it got. Yeah. Most managers hit about par after 38 game weeks. Those that have really good ranks often have had a lucky seasons. They're way above par. Big man, I expect yours is probably just a bit above it, a bit better than maybe a little bit lucky at times. But I mean, the start of the season, you were terribly unlucky. But again, usually balances out. Mine this season is a disgrace in terms of bad, rotten, stinking luck. I am some hundreds of points down. It's shocking. So it's just one of those things. Next season, I'll probably get really lucky. But yeah, they're always interesting. Big man, I can't remember the name of the website to use for that. Is it FPL Optimized or something? Where can you find those luck charts?
I think so. I think it's FPL Optimized as well. A lot of people try and check that over the season. I think it is FPL Optimized. I haven't done it for my team this season, but I think it's the same that you mentioned.
Yeah. Someone sent me mine because they were like, you need to see this. And I was like, oh, that does make me feel a bit better, actually.
It wasn't bad decision making. It was bad luck.
A bit of both. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, look, my decision will go down to the wire. It'll probably go down to team leagues. I am looking to captain Watkins. If I was doing nothing with this team, I'd captain Watkins. But I'm likely to, whoever I bring in, whether that's Gordon or Saka, I'm going to captain them, I think. So I'm going to have a bit of fun with a differential captain. Right, let's come away from my team and just talk captaincy in general. Big man, if you weren't going Salah, would it be an Evanilson? Because you mentioned him a few times. Or would you go to Saka? Or, I mean, you've not mentioned Ollie Watkins, but I think that's an amazing fixture to target. Man United at Old Trafford, that is going to be one horrible atmosphere.
Especially Villa score early, and things will get really, really messy. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the difficulty of the fixtures, I feel as if Evanilson and Saka have a slightly higher ceiling.
Yeah.
So if I was to rank them, Salah, Saka because he's a mid, and third would be Evanilson, I think.
Evanilson above Watkins. Dean, is it fair to say Old Trafford's not going to be the nicest of places? What is that home crowd going to be like on Sunday? If they're playing well, I guess they get behind the team, but it's going to be a pretty flat atmosphere to start with, isn't it?
I don't know, mate. I mean, Man United fans do get a lot of stick, and it's a tourist trap and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, to some extent, there's truth behind it. But the hardcore United fans are like United to the bone, and they still make noise and they still support the team. So it's tough to know, because there haven't been many times when they've been let down this often, but also to this drastic effect. Like, it's not just that they lost to Tottenham. It's like when players are representing your club, you want to at least see that they've given it absolutely everything and come up with every possibility that they could to get you back into that cup final, to try to score a goal. And I think that fans have been looking at them thinking, are you even like sweating? Like, have you even like, do you, Garnacho's sitting there like pretending to cry or whatever at the end. And you're just like, sorry, mate, I'm just not buying this. So I think that for one of the few times in my lifetime, there are players within that team that United fans probably actually dislike, and just have no empathy for. And as a result of that, then perhaps some people in there turn on them. But generally, I think it will end up flat, because I think they'll lose. And I think that's the biggest problem. That there's just nothing here to give you faith that this is going to be a good afternoon. They need a rousing speech or something. Bruno Fernandes has got to come up with some sort of inspiration. It could be Bruno's last game for Man United. Like, we might have reached the stage where Man United now have to cash in on Bruno Fernandes because of Amarim's dreadful decision to play him as a deeper midfielder alongside Casemiro. Like, that tactical decision might actually cost them the player now, because they are skint and they've got to sell someone big. And they've got to sell either Bruno Fernandes or Kobbie Mainoo. And to be honest, I'd just get rid of Bruno now. I'd get rid of Bruno because he's 30 years old. He wants to win things, or he wants a big payday. Sure, those are the two things. And he's not going to earn any more money at Man United than he's on right now. And he's not going to win anything now at Man United. Nothing, he might win the Carabao Cup next season, but who cares? Like, that's not what he's in it for now. And honestly, has Bruno been that good? Is it impossible to replace Bruno Fernandes? I don't think it is. I think it's sometimes overplayed. Like, he's had some good spells, a couple of good spells this season, but I think good might even be an exaggeration. Over the course of his Man United career, he's been a good signing. He's delivered in some big moments. But yeah, I think there'll be a lot going on in the heads of United fans coming into this, just wondering like who they trust, what they're getting. And I think Aston Villa are just going to go there and toy with them. That's the thing that I think more than anything. Like, Villa are a really good team. And I think they'll toy with them. You'll probably even get a weird goal. Like, Ross Barkley will probably score from about 30 yards or something. You'll get something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Villa and that result. A big man, the other team there to consider is Spurs. Many have said, they're going to be drunk, they're partying, and they're right to. But what we saw with Crystal Palace was actually, after a couple of days of partying and their FA Cup final win, they went and scored 4 against Wolves on the Tuesday. A bit of rotation, and we'll see rotation from Spurs. Yeah. But it was a party atmosphere in the ground at Selhurst Park. It will be the same at the Spurs Stadium. Do you think that many managers are looking at a Matoma or a Minter or a Welbeck going, Brighton are going to score 3 goals and win 3-0. But maybe we just see Spurs with that party atmosphere and the crowd and the players that weren't in the starting 11 maybe give an extra 10%. Maybe actually Spurs turn up for this one. How do you see that going?
I think you're right in the sense where you compare it with Man United, and I just think that United's atmosphere could get toxic if Villa score early, while Spurs could have a party atmosphere. I do think that it's going to be a game where, we see plenty of goals, those Spurs and Brighton. So it's not something which would necessarily put me off the Brighton attackers. I still think they'll find some joy because Spurs would be, more carefree in the way they play. I just think the Villa attackers I would trust more personally.
Yeah, okay. Nice. Good stuff. Look, guys, we have hit the hour mark and then some. We are going to be back tomorrow for our final stream of kind of the season. I mean, we're looking to do a review stream on Monday, maybe. CH has put that in the commented on that in the chat, that idea. So we'll let you know. Make sure you're hitting the notification bell though, guys, and then you'll know if we do that on Monday. It would be more of a reflection of the season, lessons learned, but also maybe a nod to like prices next season, which I think could be loads of fun. Doing polls on all the players, like what are they going to cost next season, could be quite fun to do. So stay tuned for that, but more importantly, stay tuned tomorrow, midday UK time. Remember, the deadline is 3:30 UK time, so we're going early. We'll just do an hour, but we're here to answer your questions. Whatever your question is, in game week 38, ahead of that deadline, we will answer it. And all you've got to do in exchange for that is subscribe, like, and comment. Guys, for now, we will say our goodbyes. Dean, good luck on the final day, especially with your Bowen pick.
Yeah, and you, Mo. Thank you.
And Bigman, we'll speak tomorrow, shall we? We'll see you at midday. It won't be tomorrow. Sunday. Better change my
Sunday, 12 p.m. UK.
You can tell I'm on the beach. I've been on the beach since like game week 30. Yeah. See you Sunday at 12, guys.